Hello, everyone. It's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at Tru Heel Heat. Yeah.
Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back once again, and it is the big one. We gave you the top 10 from AEW, from WWE, from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now we have Tru Heel Heat's top 20 best matches of 2022. I am here with my esteemed colleagues. First, we have the two-time baby making champion, the marijuana enthusiast. You see him on NX3, you see him on Blunt Impact. It is Chris G.
What's going on, everybody?
They are doing good out in YouTube land. And of course, with Chris G, you got his tag team partner from Blunt Impact, 1/3 of NX3. He is Ness.
Tru Heels, what's the deal? Here to talk about all the great matches the top great matches we've seen this year.
Yes, we put together this list based on the votes of you, the subscribers, the supporters of Tru Heel Heat, the contributors, and a couple of our friends from the wrestling media world. The top 20 best matches of 2022. What a year it was for professional wrestling. So let's get into it. First up, guys, I got to get through the honorable mentions. These are a couple of matches that received one or two votes. Some of these were more higher than other matches that are made our list. We had Josh Alexander versus Speedball Mike Bailey from Impact on Access TV, the 60-minute time limit withdrawal. I know you guys were very high on that match. So
I mean,
what
I
do you
think it
guys
should
think?
be in the top 20. Fucking honorable mention. There should be top 20.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. So the rest of the list, it gotta be bangers. It has to be, because that was a fucking certified banger.
Absolutely. I think that the only reason that didn't make the list or only got voted on pretty much once is why they got the points to make the honorable mentions is because it happened in December. So a lot of the people, automatically when you think match of the year and you're voting in December, you don't even think about the matches that happened like a day or two or a week ago.
I'll be honest, I'm probably the one that voted for that too. So I'm gonna thank myself for getting this match into the honorable mentions.
Good job, sir. We have CM Punk versus MJF from AEW Dynamite in Chicago. I already know that one vote came from Stat King, probably. He was very high on that match during our AEW countdown. You got Yuka Sakazaki versus Shoko Nakajima from Wrestle Princess. We also had Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville from WrestleMania 38. One of the funniest matches that they have done at WrestleMania in a while. I will say that. A match that I recently saw, Jun Kasai versus El Desperado from Just Tap Out Taka Michinoku debut 30th anniversary. This was kind of like a New Japan stage meets a GCW death match. You had broken soda bottles. You had El Desperado's mask being ripped off. He was basically unmasked and bleeding throughout this matchup. And it was totally needs to be seen. It was quite the spectacle to watch. Mei Sakura versus Yuna Misuzuri. And you had FTR versus the Young Bucks 2 from AEW Dynamite on April 6th. So those were the honorable mentions. Just missing out on our top 20 right here. Any comments, thoughts on those honorable mentions there?
You weren't lying when you said a couple of these matches we probably didn't even see. They all sound like great matches. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn was definitely very, very entertaining. Wee Man body slamming Sami Zayn was the highlight of the match for me.
That was the best. That was definitely the best part.
The slam heard round the world, indeed. So here we go. We're going to start off with number 20 here. This one got 6 points on 3 nominations. So pretty good seeding despite, you know, only 3 nominations. At the number 20 spot, we get to New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle Autumn with Will Ospreay versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay defeating Naito with the Stormbreaker to defend the championship here. This was the rematch from the G1 Climax 32 semifinals. Ness, I know you're a big LIJ fan. This felt to me like Naito finally had one of those classic Naito great matches again for the first time. What seems to be since like before the pandemic was the last time he had this great of a match.
Yeah, it's been a while since like he had that high caliber of the match. A lot of the time, he's just been kind of coasting. I know he had like injuries and things like that, so it was obviously it was going to be that type of match with, you know, none other than Will Ospreay going into the match. As much as I wanted Naito to win, again, Will Ospreay's time, he wasn't going to give that up. I voted for this match, so I'm one of the 3. What is it? 3? I'm the
3 nominations.
3 nominations. Yeah, one of those came from me. So because I really enjoyed this match. A lot of back and forth action. Again, Naito looked like he got back to where he was at prior to the pandemic. Will Ospreay just probably the wrestler of the year. If not one of the top wrestlers, he definitely is the wrestler of the year. So yeah, this is true New Japan fashion. Both these guys brought it, and it was a great match.
Yeah, I think I said this in the New Japan countdown. This was one of those matches where, like, when we reviewed the show, I gave it 4 3/4, and then I watched it back, and I was like, "Nah, this is 5 stars. This was a 5-star matchup." Like, it had the crowd. The clap crowd always is weird to rate matches because crowd is a part of the rating, and it's always weird with the clap crowd. But they were very much into this whole matchup, so that's why it deserved to be on this list, and it deserved this 5-star rating that it got from the Wrestling Observer. Let's go to number 19, guys. We got at number 19 on 2 nominations, 6 points. So it got less. It got the same amount of points as number of 20 here, but it got higher seating on there. So that's why it's higher up. We got Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta from the April 8th AEW Rampage. This was the bloody spectacle that officially initiated Wheeler Yuta into the Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley defeating Wheeler Yuta here. What's your memories on this match all the way back in April, Chris?
I remember these.
Hey,
as I have the run in. I just remember a lot of blood. I mean, really, these men were bleeding a lot. It was a fun match though, and it was like I remember watching that match and being like, "Wow, like Wheeler Yuta's here." Like, you know what I mean? Like that was his arrival match. You know what to expect from Mox, but that was like the first match. And I've been following Wheeler Yuta since like MLW days. So it was finally like it came full circle. It was like shit. Like Yuta's finally making a name for himself. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this was exactly the match that Wheeler Yuta needed, and it kind of changed the trajectory of his entire kind of year. I just recently rewatched this matchup, and you got Moxley kind of stomping his head into the steel steps, busting him open, and then you had Wheeler Yuta kicking out of the paradigm shift that got that huge pop from that crowd, had them on fire, kicked out of another paradigm shift after that, and then finally he just had to like pass out into the Bulldog choke. So yeah, this is just a great match to even go back and watch. I think this is kind of going to be one of those timeless brawls to go back and watch. But next we go to number 18, and this one is another one that got 6 points, guys, but it got 2 nominations with 1 first place vote. So that is why it is higher than number 18, number 19 and 20. Coming in at number 18, we got WWE Survivor Series, the men's War Games matchup, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn of the Bloodline versus Team Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Butch, Ridge Holland, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. This recently happened. I'm surprised that it made our list. I'm famous on our channel for not being the highest on this match. I basically have said in the past you could skip 28 minutes and go to the 11-minute mark, and that's the whole matchup. You can pretty much save some time. You don't have to watch all 40 minutes of this matchup. But the last 11 minutes of this match is great stuff. And I think it was the best match on Survivor Series. So, Ness, what was your thoughts on the men's War Games making our list here?
So it's just like there was a little bit of action, which is ironic because of how long the match was. So there was a lot of action, but it was more so of the storyline of, Jey Uso still not trusting Sammy because he was having contact with Kevin Owens. Sammy actually showing the rest of the bloodline that he is loyal, that they can trust him. Roman is specifically, him hitting a low blow on Kevin Owens and then laying Kevin Owens out for Jey to hit the splash so they can pick up the victory. That's just perfect storytelling, and they're still having that story roll. So as much as the match was just like there for, like you said, a good 28 minutes of it, then going on to everything else that happened, that just made the rest of the match feel more important than pretty much what it was.
And then you had the famous post match with Jey giving Sammy the hug, probably the biggest pop for a hug of 2022, right?
The oosiest hug in WWE history.
The oosiest hug in WWE history, coming in at number 18. Yeah, I think this is a match that's primarily there for the story that it told in those like final moments. You had also Roman Reigns early on kind of telling Sami Zayn to go into the cage to join Jey Uso so they can work together. You had all the stuff building up to the matchup at the night, as well as the night before with the whole Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage segment with Jey Uso listening on. And you had all the backstage segments with Roman Reigns throughout the night building up to the matchup. So this I feel like this match is basically on our list because someone enjoyed the story a lot. And that last 11 minutes was great to them. So, fair enough.
How fucking badass did Roman look, though, when they finally let him out that cage? Like, the whole presentation of the tribal chief finally leaving the cage and entering the ring, I was like, oh, man, this is great.
He looked badass sitting in the cage.
Sitting in the cage.
The only one.
I said in our Survivor Series review, I was like, this man sat in a cage for 30 minutes, got out, did like 4 moves, took like 3 of them, and got a busted eardrum, and then sat out for the rest of the night. He worked like 7 minutes, tops.
Got paid a lot of money.
Goddamn.
I want that schedule, pal.
Bravo. Yeah. Let's move on to number 17 here, and we're going to go up a little bit in points to 9 points. On 3 nominations, including 1 first place vote. New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 32 Tournament, Day 12, Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's name coming up again. I don't think it's the last time, but yes, Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. One of my favorite matches of this entire G1 Climax 32 Tournament. Okada and, Tanahashi built up this kind of reputation on, having classic matches. Then you had Okada and Omega take it to the next level. And I feel like Ospreay and Shingo is like the next stage of that classic in-ring rivalry for New Japan Pro Wrestling, because every time these guys step into the ring, I feel like they are going to be on the list of the best matches of a year. Last year, they had 1 or 2, one of the best matches of the year last year at Wrestling Dontaku, the 6-star classic rated by Wrestling Observer. This year, this match rated 5.5 stars. Shingo Takagi winning in the G1. The whole story being about the time limit draw and Ospreay being 3-1 against Shingo, but never beating Shingo in under 30 minutes. 30 minutes being the time limit in the G1. And Shingo once again, the second time, beating Ospreay in under 30 minutes in the G1 tournament. I know you're a big fan of Shingo. Once again, an LIJ person versus Will Ospreay. What was your thoughts, Ness?
Again, another LIJ versus versus Will Ospreay banger. These guys got great chemistry. I can say like their worst match, it's better than some people's best matches. Like, and it's crazy because it's like their matches are never actually bad. So however you want to rake them, they're still like the lowest maybe a 4-star, 4.5, and they did nothing less than that here. Like these guys just go out there. Shingo, he's still one of my top favorite guys, even though he might not be at the plateau he was earlier in the year or last year, but he's still, going out there putting on phenomenal performances. Once again, Will Ospreay, wrestler of the year. These guys definitely went out there, put on a 5-star classic, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, the G1, it's hard to kind of stand out because the tournament is so long and there's going to be so many great matches. But this is probably, you can, if you put it at number one, the top match of the G1, or number two, is one of those best matches that you're going to remember from this G1 Climax tournament, even years later. But I told the guys before we started this countdown that there would be a match, at least one match on this list that I don't think they want, but I did. And I wasn't the person that put this on my list. Someone else did. This one came in with 3 nominations, 10 points, with 1 first place vote. From Stardom Gold Rush 2022, you had Shuri versus Yatami Hayashita. So just to put this into perspective, these 2 women are the 2 women that last year in 2021 broke Dave Meltzer's star rating, the first women to ever break the star rating with 5.5 stars, and they went to a time limit draw when Yatami Hayashita was the champion. Shuri went on to win Stardom's version of the G1 Climax tournament last year, the 5-star Grand Prix, and then defeated Yatami Hayashita for the championship at the end of 2021. And then came into this year as champion, has been on a dominant run. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like Asuka's NXT run meets Brock Lesnar's WWE 2014 run. Instead of suplexes, what Shuri does is she kicks you to death. It's Kick City, and she will kick. She has the hardest kicks in the business. I used to say it was the hardest kick I've seen from a woman, and then I seen some matches where I was like, no, this is one of the hardest kicks I've ever seen. I was like, her or Kota Ibushi. It's really it's either or. And Yatami Hayashita is just this young prospect. In a lot of ways, these 2 are kind of like the Okada Omega of Stardom, and Yatami Hayashita is a lot of ways is like Okada. She's like that prospect that just has all this talent, already been the champion, and is going to get more success in the years to come. And just how they move in the ring, they just flow so well. I would say it's in the best comparison to them in how they work in the ring and how smooth it is for the women's American fans out there. It would be the Sasha and Bailey of Japanese professional wrestling. These 2 women, every time they're in the ring, they have a classic. This was no difference. Shuri got the win with her big move. It's kind of like a Rikishi driver on the side, dropping Yatami Hayashita on her head out of like an electric chair. She gets you from the electric chair and then drops you down into like a Rikishi driver for the win. And yeah, these 2 women definitely go out of your way. Stardom is, I would say this was Stardom's kind of big year. In my opinion, I think they were the promotion of the year, only because AEW was kind of up and down with their backstage thing. WWE had the late rise, but I still have to count in the first 6 months of the year. So Japan, with New Japan, their business is down in comparison to before the pandemic, while Stardom, in comparison to the entire Japanese promotions, their business is up in comparison to pre-pandemic. So Stardom is on the up right now, and these 2 women are a big reason why.
Nice.
So let's move on, guys, to number 15. This one I know you 2 have watched, from AEW All Out. we got the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This one came in with 11 points on 3 nominations. So despite the prior 2 seeds having first place vote, prior 3 seeds having first place votes, this one just got mentioned a little bit higher on 3 nominations. Chris, what's your memories on this match? Kind of the breaking out, the coming out party for Max Caster and Anthony Bowens and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn.
Well, it was like, I don't think it was necessarily the coming out party, but it was like the culmination of like, I guess that their infancy, right? Like this is when they became like, they turned from boys into men, kind of like,
yeah.
They like everybody was like on the Acclaim train already, and then they put this match out. And by the end of the match, you fucking wanted the Acclaim to win. Like I did not care about this match when I first seen it. I was like, it's a regular like tag team match. Like it's good to see the Acclaim, but Swerve in Our Glory is gonna win. And then by the end of the match, I was highly disappointed that the Acclaim didn't win. That's how good the match was, but that's how good the Acclaim is, and of course Swerve in Our Glory as well. So I just remember being at the end of the match, just being like, damn, I hope they run this back, which they did.
Almost immediately, just a few weeks later, we were there live, Chris, to see the Acclaim win the AEW World Tag Team Champions at Grand Slam in New York. So, this one exceeded any and all expectations on a night of great wrestling matches. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley in the main event was great. I thought the Elite versus Dark Order in the Trios finals was fantastic. But this match, in a lot of ways, I don't blame anyone who says that this stole the show, because it exceeded anyone's expectation. It came in with modest expectations of people thinking that it would be good, that the Acclaim would have a chance to win, and then they went out and stole the show. It was just a great performance, and Swerve in Our Glory, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee totally exceeded expectations as AEW World Tag Team Champions.
I cannot remember. I mean, I guess it doesn't happen often where like the tag team champions are like really not on the same page, like ever. Like one is clearly a scumbag and one is clearly like, the lovable giant that you want to see succeed. You know what I mean? And they played it off not only like on screen really good, but in their matches, and especially in their matches with the Acclaim, they play those parts off really good. So kudos to them.
Yeah, I love how it all started with that backstage promo after they lost that Double or Nothing in LA. They was like, "We're the Shaq and Kobe of AEW," and then they did the whole story of them being teammates that don't really get along, don't really work well together all the time, but they are just that good, and they won the championships. I love that story. Yep. As a Laker fan.
Yeah, of course you would love it.
Coming in at number 14 here, we have on 4 nominations, so just one up from the seed prior, 13 points, another match from AEW, but this time for Double or Nothing. One of the best visuals of 2022, Anarchy in the Arena, the Jericho Appreciation Society's Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker versus Eddie Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club. This one was just insanity. Jericho Appreciation Society win after Jericho puts Danielson in the walls of Jericho, while Jake Hager has him tied up in his neck around with the rope, the ring rope. And this is after Bryan Danielson basically had the win with the LaBelle lock. And then the aforementioned Eddie Kingston came out like a zombie, tried to light both Danielson and Jericho on fire, causing a fight between Kingston and Danielson that cost him the win. And then Moxley went into a table of barbed wire and got stuck there. This is... we spent like 10, 15 minutes of this match just playing Wild Thing, which is the greatest. I'm sorry, this was the greatest spectacle. I thought they could never top that first Stadium Stampede, but they did it with this matchup. Chris, what do you remember most about this match here?
I mean, it was anarchy. That's exactly what they advertised. The iconic image, though, Eddie coming out all bleeding and shit and trying to set people on fire. I mean. it's just a little too much. It was like, yeah, he was trying to commit felonies on screen. I thought the wrong team won. At the time, that's like the biggest takeaway for me because I expected just total carnage, nothing really, super crazy, maybe a crazy spot here or there, and it's remembered for Eddie trying to set people on fire and for Jericho winning.
Unfortunately, that's the only downside to, I think, Anarchy in the Arena, why it didn't rank as highly or didn't have as many nominations as I think it should have deserved. This was rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Very highly rated on like Cage Match and stuff like that. So this was one of AEW's better matches of the year. And we got another AEW match coming in at number 13 on 7 nominations. So we're getting up there with more people mentioning these matches. 1 first place vote, 20 points. We have Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page 2 for the AEW World Championship from the January 5th AEW Dynamite. The rematch from the hour-long draw at Winter is Coming 2021 with Hangman Adam Page finally getting the win over Bryan Danielson to retain the championship. Ness, what do you remember most about this match here?
So I remember, or just appreciate, actually, I like both matches a lot. The only thing that would really make the difference between the first meeting at Winter's Coming and this meeting, the second meeting, was that there was a definitive winner. These guys still had, like, their first match was great. I actually enjoyed the fact that it went to a time limit draw. A lot of people didn't like that. AEW, they have that aspect about their product that, like, yeah, we have time limits, and sometimes we use them. So, like, a lot of people were like upset, oh, how come nobody won, and blah blah blah, shit like that. So then, just go even further, we got dickheaded Bryan Danielson. Pretty much this whole, then, like, part of this whole run, just asshole Bryan Danielson was great. Another thing that it just made Adam Page's run as champ that much better, because, like, everybody's like, oh, sometimes he gets booked really weird, which I can't deny that he wasn't getting booked weird like that. Like, he would look strong in the matches, but, like, just the promos and the segments he's in with his adversaries, he really didn't look that strong in there. So his best thing was being in the ring, going toe to toe with the best and coming out on top. And that's a perfect example in this match.
Yeah, this kind of was the match and the win that Hangman needed to kind of solidify his championship run. This went 30 minutes, I remember, and these guys were bloody throughout, and it kind of built off that Winter is Coming match so well. I remember Bryan Danielson just passing out to avoid the buckshot lariat. That was one of my best memories from this match here. So let's go into number 12. Number 12 here is proof positive that I am not dictating this list, because this right here is my highest rated, my favorite, in my opinion, the best AEW match of the year, coming in with 5 nominations, that's including mine, with 22 points. We got the Elite versus Death Triangle for the AEW World Trios Championships from AEW Full Gear. This match is just spot fool mixed with great storytelling. Spot fool means it was spots everywhere. It was spots everywhere, yo. There's sequence after sequence where you're just like, oh shit, holy shit, oh my god. It's just, it gets you on the edge of your seat. You're enjoying it. Chris G, you were there live. What's your thoughts on this matchup? Making it here number 12. I rated it 5 stars. Dave Meltzer is wrong. He rated it 4 3/4. It's a 5-star matchup. What's your thoughts on it?
They had me hooked as soon as they came out to Carry On My Wayward Son. I felt like I was in karaoke again. I was like, this is my shit. The match itself, I mean, we kind of knew what to expect, but watching it live is just like so different. It's just literally for 25 minutes or however long it went, you're just there, just like, oh shit, oh shit, and it's a whole arena of people which is oh shit, you know what I mean, one after another. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Probably definitely my favorite trios match of the year. Just for the sole fact that I was there live and I got to witness it. But it set up this best of 7 series. So no, that definitely worthy of a top 20 spot. I'd say arguably a top 10.
Yeah. If this was my list, it would have made the top 10. Just saying. Let's move on, guys, to number 11 here. This one, Ness, we talked about it a little on the WWE top 10 list, and it makes it here at number 11 on 7 nominations, including 1 first place vote, 31 points. So we're going up in points here. You got Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul from WWE Crown Jewel. The 3rd match ever for Logan Paul against the undisputed WWE Universal Champion in the main event. And he came through and stole the show. You got the 5-star flog splash, with the cell phone. You had the bloodline getting involved. You had Jake Paul getting involved here. This is just a whole bunch of fun. Logan Paul showing out, buckshot lariat and all. Ness, any extra thoughts that you got on this match here?
Man, honestly, for this match to be this high on the list involving Logan Paul, that has a lot to say about like how far he's come. And he's not even come that far. You know, guys, he's had, this is his 3rd match. He's had great performances in all of them, but this is the one that I guess I can quote unquote say made him, because when he was in there with the top guy of, if not just wrestling of all, within WWE, you know, he's in there with the face of WWE, the tribal chief, the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight, Universal and World Heavyweight Champion, and he held his own. You know, unfortunately, he was injured during the match, which I'm going to be one of those guys. I think that low-key was I think it's low-key a work, so they can just write him off, so they don't have to act. People can, where are we going to get another Logan Paul match? When's Logan Paul coming back? When's Logan Paul coming back? Oh, he's hurt? Okay, so we don't have to ask about him right now. But I'm waiting for him to come back. I'm going to see his next match, because he already hit the peak. You know, you're in there with the best of the best at the top. So now it's just like, all right, what else can you do from here on? Like, maybe a triple threat? I don't know. Put him in a Hell in a Cell at this point. We need something that is going to make stand out, because this match was great. You know, from the 5-star vlog splash to his version of the buckshot lariat, he went out there and put on a hell of a performance. That was the match of the night, and he was my MVP from Crown Jewel. That was a great show and a great showing from him.
Yeah, only your 3rd match, and you're going out there and stealing the show like he did. Hey, more power to you. He deserves to be on our list here for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's move on into the top 10, fellas. We got coming in at number 10 on 11 nominations, 39 points. So everybody was very high on this one. Out of those 11 nominations here, the 11 nominations out of our 30 nominations that we received, we got FTR versus the Briscoes from ROH Death Before Dishonor. 2 out of 3 falls the second encounter between these two teams, coming in here at number 10. FTR, hell of a year, but this was the feud that defined their year, and these two teams had a hell of a obstacle ahead of them to try to meet the expectations set by their Super Card of Honor battle, and they went out there and worked for 45 minutes. Best 2 out of 3 falls. You had the Briscoes getting the first fall with the Doomsday device. You had FTR getting the next fall with the big rig, and then the brutal 3rd fall, everybody going through tables. You had Jay Briscoe busted open, and then he gets the avalanche power driver off the 2nd rope for FTR to get the victory. Dax pitting Jay Briscoe. What do you remember most from this match here, Chris G?
The blood. Again, just blood all over the place. But also dual dog collar match.
No, this is the second one. The best two out
Oh,
of three
this.
falls.
Oh, well, it was good because this was more of like a just like technical, like
Yeah.
it went through phases, you know what I mean? And I like it because it felt like there was peaks and valleys. It took us on a ride, you know. It wasn't like you're necessarily your like normal tag team match, which you're not going to get a normal tag team match with these two tag teams. They're two of the best. But to have a 2 out of 3 falls and give them that extra stipulation, it was fun to watch. I mean, I'm a guy that I usually don't like the 2 out of 3 falls gimmicks, because I feel like it's, the first 2 falls are kind of pointless until you get to that third fall. But these 2 tag teams are good enough to make me invested into the whole match. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this just a classic feel to it. This one also rated by Dave Meltzer 5 stars in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So definitely worthy of being here at number 10. So let's move on to number 9. Number 9 just edging out our number 10 spot because it received 7 nominations, but 2 first place votes, 40 points overall. You got FTR here once again, but this time against Aussie Open from Royal Quest 2, New Japan Pro Wrestling, going back to the UK. And they had this big match for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. As Christian G always said, I had blood. It had blood, so it's on the up. You had the great, you had Aussie Open getting busted open. You're kind of calling back to FTR, holding on to each other's hands when they were in the submissions against DIY, while Aussie Open was in the sharpshooters by FTR. They're holding on to each other's hand, but Kyle Fletcher just starts slapping Mark Davis so he can make it to the rope. Yo, this had it all. I love the energy of the crowd mixed with the grittiness of how these two teams went at it. Ness, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see this one, but overall, what's your thoughts on Aussie Open kind of being new to New Japan? And this was kind of the match they needed to kind of establish themselves.
Actually, I'm glad that you just said that because I felt like this is a breakout year for them. They've been in, from Impact, New Japan, AEW. They're just going all over, making a name for themselves, and then being in a stable attached to someone like Will Ospreay. That's just going to make their platform even bigger and make their stock go through the roof. And that's having matches like this with a team like FTR is just going to catapult them even further. So I see a lot of big things for them in 2023.
This one here, it came in number 2 on our top 10 best New Japan Pro Wrestling matches, coming in here at number 9. So definitely a matchup that if you haven't seen it, definitely go out of your way to see it. New Japan only made it available like 2-3 weeks after the show. So I know a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to see it. That's why it was so low on the nominations. But as you see, the people that did see it were very high on this matchup indeed. So let's move on to number 8. Number 8 coming in at number 8 on 12 nominations, 38 points. You got Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. Excuse me, 48 points. You got Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay from Wrestle Kingdom 16. This one was on January 4th. So this was really early, a lot of people's match of the year, but obviously it moved down the list a little bit throughout the year, coming in here at number 8. This was Will Ospreay trying to avenge his loss from last year's Wrestle Kingdom. The little brother trying to prove himself still to the big brother, but Kazuchika Okada still the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Will Ospreay after Ospreay even kicked out of the Rainmaker in this matchup here. Ospreay and Okada, how do you think it ranks as far as like Ospreay in terms of Okada's rivals, Chris? Because we talked about it before. I talked about, Okada's known for those 2 rivalries of Tanahashi and Omega, but over the last couple of years, and especially this year, Ospreay has kind of added kind of classics to their rivalry to kind of move up their list, don't you think?
I'd keep him at number 3. I mean, it's not going to take a lot more, but it's going to be a while before they get to the Omega Okada level, right? And even the Tanahashi Okada level. It's just those are legendary rivalries, and this still is like a budding rivalry where it's still like it still has meat to the bone, like it hasn't hit its climax yet. So it's still number 3 in terms of Okada. But I mean, in terms of Osprey, like Osprey's rivalries, I think maybe Okada's like 5th. Because I mean, you got Shingo, but
Yeah, that's true.
I think the one guy more than Shingo is Kota. I think those top 2 are Osprey's, like, those are his real rivalries. So I don't know. Him and Okada still got growth there.
Still got room to grow, still got time there to kind of build on that rivalry even more. But let's move on, guys, here to number 7. And number 7 has some familiar names here, guys. You might have heard of them before. Coming in with 12 nominations on 2 first place votes, 50 points overall. It's Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay from the G1 Climax 32 final. This one here, I will admit, one of those first place votes is from me. If this was my list, this would be the tops, because no match gave me feels and emotions watching it live like this one. I was on the edge of my seat, edge of my bed watching this one. Will Ospreay, with that promo the night before, made it seem like he finally was going to defeat Okada on a big stage. He knew everything. The tape study, you had him pulling out all the tricks. He pulled out all the ghosts of Okada's past, doing the high fly flow of Tanahashi. He did the phenomenal forearm and the Styles Clash of AJ Styles. Pulls out the V trigger, but he goes for the One Ring Angel, and it leads to his demise as Okada reverses, hits the finishing sequence, and puts him away with the Rainmaker for the win. The second Rainmaker after Ospreay kicked out of the same sequence that beat him at Wrestle Kingdom 16. Storytelling, ladies and gentlemen. Ness, what was your thoughts, your memories on this one?
Oh man, so I think this was one of my probably one of my top 3 matches that I voted for in our predictions in our list of 2022, and as high as it is, it wasn't in the top 5, but this was a great match. Just like everything you mentioned, far as I like the one thing about the New Japan matches is talent will use former talents finishers or signature moves in a match against one of their former adversaries. So Will Ospreay pulling out all the moves like the Styles Clash and Phenomenal Forearm. He had Okada had a nice rivalry with AJ Styles. The V Trigger had a nice another classic feud with Kenny Omega, and the High Five Flow. Now that's my top feud for Okada and Tanahashi. So the storytelling, and again, we don't really get a lot of promo work. These guys might, we might get a video package or something at the end of a show, or during the post media scrum or something like that. But mainly their storytelling is done in the ring, and that's what makes these matches in New Japan pretty much one of my favorite company, is because they don't need to go out there and do 20-minute segments of them just talking. They can go out, they don't have to talk at all. They can go out there and have a 40-minute match, and everything that needs to be said and told is done within the ring. And that's exactly what happened in that match.
And this was one of the rare cases. Like I said, the promo the night before by Ospreay, promo work did help, in my opinion, helped elevate in how I was invested and how I believed Ospreay had a chance despite going into the match. I think he was 5-1, 1-5 against Okada going into the match, and came out of it 1-6.
Then there was LOL Okada wins.
Yes, LOL Okada wins. Lol. Coming in here at number 6. If you thought you saw deja vu again, you're about to see it again, fellas. Coming in at number 6 with 51 points, so just slightly higher than Okada Ospreay G1 final. 51 points on 2 first place votes, 15 nominations. FTR versus the Briscoes, 1 from Super Card of Honor, April 1st, 2022. This one building off of FTR appearing at Final Battle, the end of an era. Tony Khan purchases Ring of Honor, and he announces he's going to be heading up the big promotions, big WrestleMania weekend show, and he announces FTR versus the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. And boy, oh boy, did these boys go out there and pull a robbery, because they stole the whole WrestleMania weekend, in my opinion. This was a classic. This was another one that had that gritty feel to it, that Dallas crowd so invested, so loud, so into what both of these teams were doing. Neither kind of team had the crowd completely in their favor. It was kind of split down the middle, and it just had that electric feel to it, and they went out there and had an excellent, timeless tag team wrestling matchup. Chris G, what's your memories of this? And do you think that this is FTR Briscoes? The kind of the debate coming out of this year is going to be what was the best FTR Briscoes match, but what do you think makes the FTR Briscoes one match stand out from the pack?
I mean, it's a kind of like a vague answer, but it's the fact that it is the first match between these two tag teams, and it's a dream match that I didn't think would ever happen. You know what I mean? You've seen FTR in the WWE days, and you're like, they're never signing the Briscoes. Fucking Revival's never leaving. Like, you never thought this would actually happen. And then even with them going to AEW, the Briscoes, still being free agents and stuff like that, or, their ROH contracts on hold, whatever you want to call it. It's just never thought it was possible. And then when it finally happens, you finally see these two tag teams facing off, the bell rings. It's just that atmosphere in that moment, like, oh shit, like we're about to see something real, like something good. And it didn't fail to deliver. It was amazing. I wouldn't say my favorite or the best out of the three, but I maybe the most important.
That's a good point. That's a good shout. Good shout right there. So let's get into it, guys. It's the top 5 coming in at number 5. This one a little bit more up from our last one, coming in with 53 points. Once again, 2 first place votes. Once again, 15 nominations, but people were a little bit higher with the other nominations for this one. Another one from WrestleMania weekend. You got Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. This one right here, in my opinion, one of the best women's matches in WrestleMania history. You had the pomp and circumstance, the superstar entrances for both women. Becky Lynch coming out with like a Marvel intro that showed her whole past and everything she's done, coming out like a fashionista with a black outfit and the shades out of a white Escalade. Then you had Bianca coming out with the whole drum line and band playing her whole theme, and then these two women went out there. They had the little callback to SummerSlam with Becky hitting the manhandle slam early for a near fall that got the crowd instantly into it. You had a manhandle slam on the steel steps, Bianca looking dead, and then she reverses the avalanche manhandle slam, hits the KOD for the win to win the Raw Women's Championship. Ness, what do you think about this match? And do you think it was voted on by the Tru Heels for the Tru Heel Heat 6th annual year-end awards as the best women's match of 2022? Do you think it deserves to be remembered as such?
It's a strong argument as to if it should, because it just, one, it was at Mania. 2, it actually felt important. I remember and I said this on when we were doing the top 10 WWE matches of the year, this felt like Mania really started once this match came out. The big entrances, the actual caliber of talent of who it was that was involved in the match, and then them actually going on and actually performing to that caliber that we know that they can do, actually going on beyond that, it does feel like you can say that this was the best women's match of the year. I might have an opinion on which one or might be a little bit better, but it's not. I can't disagree with anybody that feels like this was, because again, I felt like, I remember watching. I'm like, all right, we're Mania, 2 nights of it. That's already dragging it, and then like as the first night, we're just like, all right, what's going? But once Becky came out, like once this match is about to start, she comes out, big entrance. I'm like, okay, now things are starting to turn around here, starting to turn up. Then Bianca came out with the band and everything. I'm just like, all right, cool. We got the entrances, we got the attire. Now we got the match. And Bianca taking the I don't even know what the hell Becky was trying to do. I guess the Molly go round and get kicked in the face, and then just keeps going. Big ass shiner on her eye, on Monday Night Raw. But she showed up strong, just like she did in that match. And at one point, I'm like, they better not do what they tried to do at SummerSlam. She hits the manhandle slam and gets this fucking pin. If this happens, I'm turning this pay-per-view off and I'm leaving the stream. They almost got me. But that was all into the story that played up into it. And kudos to Bianca, man. She's had a hell of a year. Shout out to Becky as well, coming back from injury not too long ago. But yeah, this is definitely Bianca's year, and just shout out to her, man. She's been on a hell of a run. But
Bianca Belair pulling the clean sweep at our year-end awards with the female wrestler of the year, as well as the women's match of the year as well. So coming in here at number 5 on our year-end top 20 best matches of 2022.
Hey, can I actually say something real quick?
Yeah.
Now, I can probably say, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right, I don't think there's any other women's matches that are going to be here on out for the rest of our, the rest of our list.
No, that's the highest women's match on our list as well.
So that says a lot. Like, of course, we got AEW, New Japan, Impact, all these different wrestling promotions. So for these two women to actually be in the top 5 out of all of these promotions, that does say a whole lot for them.
And it came in with, it was one of 2 women's matches on our list, voted on by our contributors, our fans, our Patreon backers, as well as a couple of our friends from the channel. So definitely deserves a lot of praise for what Becky and Bianca were able to accomplish at WrestleMania this year.
Yep.
Now let's go into number 4, because Chris G's been wanting to talk about it. Coming in at number 4 on 14 nominations, which I think is insane because this match literally just happened. But 14 nominations, 4 first place votes, 56 points. FTR versus the Briscoes, 3. So all 3 matches from FTR and the Briscoes are in our top 10 of our top 20 best matches of 2022. This one being the highest from Final Battle 2022 on December 10th. FTR finally losing the ROH World Tag Team Championships back to the Briscoes in a bloody, brutal double dog collar matchup. Jay Briscoe making Dax Harwood pass out to a cripple across face with a chain across his face. Chris G, talk about it.
The blood. So much blood. No, I mean, just brutality all around. Blank canvas, right? Like, it's hard. It's very rare in wrestling where we get like an original concept. Not to say the dog collar match is an original concept, but a tag team dog collar match is very rare.
Yeah.
I've never seen one before. This is my first one watching it. I didn't catch this match live. I had to watch it the next day. And when I seen it, I was upset that I didn't get to watch it live because it was just that good. Great storytelling. You 2 classic all-time tag teams just battling to see who wanted it more. And I mean, they didn't disappoint. My favorite match out of all 3. I think the best one. Maybe not the most important, but definitely my favorite.
I agree with you. In my opinion, this was my favorite. I tried to edge it out between the first one and the third one. I love the second one, and I agree with what you said earlier with the second one kind of being the best kind of pure wrestling match, because the first one was just a pure fight This one is just pure violence and
Chaos,
brutality
yes.
and murder going on throughout. So yeah, it's 3 different type of matches, but I preferred the third and the first over the second, but I had to edge it out, and I think this is the best match that they put together, the culmination of the feud, which is going to be something else we say or thought we could say about our next match here, coming in at number 3, and we're stepping up more with 20 nominations, 4 first place votes, 70 points overall. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 3, Hell in a Cell, from the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view premium live event back on June 5th. We talked about it a little in our top 10 WWE list. Talk about it here, Ness. This one, of course, you had Cody Rhodes with the torn bicep. Everyone thinking he wasn't even going to compete. Then he takes off the jacket, and finally Cody gets to be black for a night. He got a black titty. He got a black titty, and it just added to the danger of the Hell in a Cell. Once again, Hell in a Cell felt dangerous again for the first time in what felt like a decade. It felt like a very dangerous match. All of Seth Rollins' offense toward the black titty. Oh my God. It's just, it's hard to watch back even. I watched it back recently, and it's still hard to watch back. And you're just like, and I would say, and when it came to casual wrestling fans, this is the one that kind of all the casual wrestling fans wanted to watch, because you had that reality of someone really being injured, and clearly you could see the injury. So what do you think about it making here at number 3?
Yeah, so I can see this coming in at number 3. Actually, I'm either this one or their second meeting coming in at number 3. I would actually expect their second meeting to come in number 3. I expect this one to be a little bit higher, but that's just me personally. Like everything you said, the visuals just give off like danger. You know, Cody takes off his jacket. Just right then and there, like I'm like, shit, they're gonna have to go pretty easy because this dude's hurt. They're like, oh well, you know, I'm already as hurt as I can be, so fuck it, we're gonna go balls to the wall, and that's pretty much what they did. Seth, again, he's one of my top favorites and wrestlers of the year. He played his role very well in all 3 of their meetings. You know, he did exactly what he needed to do. He plays the mind games very well, coming out in the Dusty Rhodes polka dots. I'm marked out for that because he, like, every big match or every pay-per-view, he comes out with a nice cosplay of sorts. And then just like the match itself, like you said, it was just hard to watch because you know that Cody's really injured, and everything that Seth was doing to him, just like, yo, you really shouldn't be doing that. Are you sure that's as much as you can get hurt? Because I'm pretty sure you can get hurt a little bit more. Like they're like, no, like, yo, he's as bad as it is, it can't get any worse than this. I'm like, I don't believe that shit, because Seth was just working him over. Now I will say I wasn't happy with the end result, because I felt like, I'm like, okay, with Cody being this injured and actually having a real life injury, maybe we can get Seth a win and keep Cody looking strong. They're like, nope, he's already strong. He only has one arm, and he's going to win this match anyway. And that's what happened. And I'm just like, you know what? Whatever, fuck it, give it to him.
I ain't even mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not even mad at it anymore, because now he's going to go rest up, and then Seth's going to continue to be Seth. And it's probably not even, none of these 3 losses hurt him either, which is extremely rare. Like, who just keeps losing and losing and losing, and you're just like, oh yeah, man, I still want to see more of you. You're just doing so great. Usually that happens to people. They're like, all right, what the fuck? I don't like have any faith in you to do anything because you're a loser. But
You're
not with
loser.
Seth. Yeah, but yeah, these guys had a nice trilogy as well. And I don't really get, me personally, I don't really get a lot of that out of WWE's 50-50 booking. You know, we see these guys face each other on Monday Night Raw, sometimes on SmackDown, at the PLEs and all that. And this is actually one of the very few feuds that I didn't get bored with and get tired of. So I give them props for that.
All right, Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot here. 2-part question. Who had the better trilogy? FTR Briscoes, Cody Seth of 2022?
I'm going to say FTR Briscoes for the fact that at least in the third match, I feel like it was a toss up, and then like like I knew Cody was winning Hell in a Cell because
Me too.
ain't no way that motherfucker showing up with the torn pec and losing. Like I don't know why they booked it that way. Like it's just the way they booked that feud that was just kind of weird. Like Cody winning all three matches. And then the pec muscle kind of just like, I mean, it added to the match in hindsight, but then it like, at the moment it felt like it took away from the match because it felt like Cody could have did a lot more, but he was limited. So, I mean, looking back on it, obviously made for a better match and a better story because he was really hurt. But the Briscoes and FTR, man, just tag team wrestling at its finest. You don't get that a lot. So it feels more important. And it's a dream match. It's not to say Cody and Seth wasn't, but I mean, this is literally a dream trilogy that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen. So I'm going to stick to my guns and say the FTR and Briscoes trilogy.
And the second question, what will Cody be remembered more the most in 2022? The return at WrestleMania or the black titty at Hell in a Cell?
That's tough. I think people are going to remember the black titty more. I personally enjoy and going to remember the return more. But I can see why people will remember him more for the black titty.
I'm always going to remember that black titty. Let's move on.
It's the year of the black titty.
The year of the black titty. Black lives matter. That's what Cody was trying to say, y'all. Let us know in the comments down below as well. What do you think? Do you think Cody will be remembered for his Hell in a Cell performance or his return at WrestleMania 38 for 2022? And what do you prefer more? What do you think is the better trilogy of 2022? FTR Briscoes or Cody Seth? Let us know in the comments down below. But let's talk about number two. Number two, coming in with 20 nominations on 5 first place votes, 71 points overall. So just 1 point higher than Cody and Seth on the same amount of nominations, but it did have 1 first place vote higher. This one was number 1 on our AEW top 10 list. It is CM Punk versus MJF from AEW Revolution, the culmination of their rivalry, what many call the greatest rivalry in AEW history. A dog collar match, another dog collar match, making it here in the top 5. This one was another bloody spectacle. MJF and CM Punk putting it all on the line in a over 30-minute battle that ended when Wardlow seemingly couldn't find the diamond ring for MJF, but he did find it for CM Punk, and CM Punk laid out MJF with a knockout blow using his own Dynamite Diamond ring to finally end their rivalry. Well, for now, I guess, until CM Punk's officially released. But yes, CM Punk, MJF, Revolution. Chris G, what do you think about this? Making it here number 2, our number 1 AEW match, coming in at number 2 overall best matches of 2022. What's your memories of this one?
Oh, it's definitely arguable because surprise, I love the brutality of this match, but just the character work, man. MJF, the build up to this match, everything leading up to this match was perfect, and then the match itself did not disappoint. The Wardlow turn was it was perfectly timed. Rarely do you have a perfectly timed heel or babyface turn, and this was perfectly timed. Just everything fit together. The storytelling made sense, and it was good to see Punk come back and at the time and just give it his all and have a brutal match with a young up and coming talent who just happens to be the champion now. So all good things. I remember watching it and just trying to really just enjoy it. Cause I didn't know how much time Punk lad left. So hindsight being 2020, it's I'm really glad I seen this now. It's probably one of his last matches ever. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's arguably the best match of AEW. So I can see why people would have it at number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, people were very high on this one, had that brutality. Plus, it was another one that had those big time superstar entrances. You had MJF coming out to Cult of Personality and then it changing into his theme to massive boos. And then everybody's expecting to hear Cult of Personality again. And then you hear his old ROH theme, Masquerade. Oh, man, just a great moment. Him coming out in the old ROH gear. It just felt like it was special. It was meaningful. Everything that they had talked about, all the callbacks to his ROH past, even MJF cutting the promo that he's the devil like CM Punk did on the Dynamite prior to Revolution. It all came to a head in this one match, from entrances to the in-ring work to the storytelling to the finish. I thought that this was one of the best matches that AEW has ever produced and one of their best feuds. But is it the greatest feud? I'm going to ask you, Ness. What do you think is the greatest feud in AEW history so far?
Oh man, and it's crazy because they're like a 3-year-old company, so it's like it's been a lot. At this moment, I would have to say it is this feud to me personally, solely because you have somebody like CM Punk, you know. Aside from everything currently going on with the name CM Punk, having him come back, I marked out for that. I'm not even going to act like, you know, I wasn't one of those people like the dude that was crying that became a meme. I wanted to see him back for so many years, you know, like, and at one point it was like it was never going to happen. So it actually happening. Him actually coming back to work, you know, before he got fed up with everyone being children and him being tired and hurt and shit like that. And then with probably the greatest heel in AEW history, or just one of the greatest heels in general, in MJF. So you just had the old school, or I'll use old school for Punk, the old school hero going up against the new school villain. You know, and you just wanted to see Punk get that decisive win over him, because he was getting screwed over by MJF for quite some time, you know, and it was just like, when is it ever going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? He's going to get this win back. And then like everything in this match specifically, just he got the win, on top of the fact we got the Wardlow turn. That was a whole other situation that we were waiting for to happen again too. And we're just like, all right, when is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? We thought it was going to happen, but it didn't. You know, Wardlow just still on the side of MJF in the Pinnacle. And then, you know, he got tired of it. He's still getting disrespected. So then, like, there was another star being made out of this whole situation as well in Wardlow. So it was like a lot was going on with this. So me personally, I can say like this is the greatest feud in AEW history, just because there was so many other catalysts and other things going on at the time when it was actually happening. So, and it wasn't just about MJF and CM Punk. There was other people involved. It elevated other people and made other things around the feud itself seem important as well.
Yeah, it definitely helped out a bunch of people, not just CM Punk or MJF. Just a lot of people got used, got big spots, got big matches, big moments throughout that feud. So it definitely has an argument. But let us know in the comments down below if you think CM Punk and MJF is the greatest AEW feud. We want to know. Let us know in the comments down below. But finally, gentlemen, we made it through. 19 matches, 19 of the best matches of 2022 voted on by our 30 nominations from our contributors, our fans and friends of the channel. And finally, we are here at number 1, coming in with a whopping 85 points on 22 nominations, 6 first place votes. From WWE Clash at the Castle for the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther defending against Sheamus. This match here just kind of came out of nowhere. Sheamus wins a 5-way to become the number 1 contender, and they say they're giving us Sheamus versus Gunther. Everybody's ready for it. Everybody's expecting a banger, but I don't think anybody was expecting one of the greatest WWE matches of all time in front of 70,000 fans who were on their feet, electric throughout, trying to rally behind Sheamus to defeat the overpowering Ring General. Sheamus wasn't able to do it despite a over 25 or nearly 25 minute battle between these two men. Gunther finally put Sheamus away with a big old lariat to retain the Intercontinental Championship. What do you guys think? I think this is one of the first times in a while that we've had a WWE match, WWE main roster match as the winner on the Tru Heel Heat year-end awards, as well as here on our list of the top 20 best matches of 2022. Chris G, what do you think? Gunther, Sheamus, Clash at the Castle, is it deserving of this spot?
Absolutely, but it's deserving because, to me, because the physicality part of it, like I thought as soon as I seen Sheamus was going to be going up against Gunther at Clash at the Castle in the UK, it's like, there's no way these gentlemen don't get 25, 30 minutes to just beat the living shit out of each other, right? That much I expected. What I did not expect was to basically fall in love with Sheamus at the end of the match. Like, he turned into the biggest baby face of the show, and I would never, ever have envisioned that happening for Sheamus ever at any point in his career. It solidified at the end of that match that this man does deserve his flowers, that he has been an actual cornerstone for this company. He's done everything they asked him to do in any situation. He's went out there, performed his best, did what he had to do. He puts on a show. He's a good guy. He has the Hall of Fame resume. Like, Sheamus deserved. At the end of the match, you would think Sheamus deserved to win that match. He deserves to be Intercontinental Champion. And Walter is still he's still that guy. You know what I mean? All objectives were checked off at the end of this match. Both guys look strong. You fell in love with Sheamus. You appreciate Walter, and you got some good action. I mean, just the emotion out of it, just everything about that match was amazing. That I had to look back and really be like, what is my favorite match of the year? And if I had to pick one, it's that one. I could vividly remember all fucking 38 minutes or whatever they fought for. I could remember all of it. So kudos to them. Definitely worthy of that one spot for 2022.
A superb matchup. I did not have it at number one, but I definitely had it at number two. So it's quite remarkable though, Nez. This one pulling off the clean sweep, the year-end awards winner, the WWE match of 2022 for us, and now it's officially the Tru Heel's best match of 2022. What do you think, Gunther and Sheamus? Is this the type of match that's going to be remembered for years to come?
I believe so. Sheamus is already solidified in his WWE and just wrestling career in general. With Gunther, I feel like he's still making a name to the casuals and the more matches that aren't really into hardcore wrestling like how we are. So going forward, people are going to look back on this match because one, the PLE was a good show in itself as well. Aside from Drew McIntyre getting his ass kicked and then singing with Tyson Fury,
that wasn't supposed to air apparently. So.
Well, man, they fucked up with that.
That ain't our fault. We had to watch it.
Yeah, shit. But So I think it's going to be solely because, again, Sheamus solidified, and the way that they're building up Gunther now, he's gonna have that type of career. God willing, if nothing happens to him, well, he can just keep going. Hopefully, the many years that Sheamus has, on this platform and this big stage of professional wrestling. I would never in a million years would have said, this is the number one match, or I'm sorry, the number one match of the year is coming out of WWE. Are you serious? How many years have we been all right, well, yeah, that's not going to happen? Or just look at the list itself. We just had a lot of New Japan, a lot of AEW, So for number one to be WWE, you know this match had to be something serious, and it actually was. It actually delivered. It was what I call it the United Kingdom strong style. There was nothing soft going on in this match. It was a whole lot of hard hitting, strong fighting going on, and these guys actually it is everything that we're saying it was. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go out of your way to see it to understand why we're praising it so much. Coming from a company that we really don't get matches like this all the time from. So that's probably like we're used to stuff like this in a New Japan setting or an AEW setting. We don't get this type of caliber of match all the time in WWE. I think that's why it makes it so much more special.
Yeah, and especially in the environment that it was at that UK crowd. I think Clash at the Castle is one of the best WWE shows they've done in quite some time, and a lot of that is down to that crowd in Cardiff, Wales. But that is all for our Tru Heel Heat's top 20 best matches of 2022. I want to thank my esteemed colleagues here. Ness, please let the people know where they can find you, good sir. What you got going on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at skinny__Kravis, right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel every Tuesday. NX3, myself, Chris G, and Romeo, we go live watching NXT. Every Thursday, Blunt Impact, myself and Chris G once again, we go live watching Impact Wrestling. I pop up on Elite Heat every Wednesday, or not every Wednesday, every other Wednesday when I have the time. We go live, we watch AEW Dynamite, and I pop up on other shows that my good brothers and sisters of the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel have that they allow me to be on at that moment in time.
Chris, you want to let them know?
You can find me at Tru Heel, Chris G on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel every Tuesday and Thursday, usually on NX3 Tuesdays. Thursday, we're on Twitch, Blunt Impact. You could also see me gaming here and there if my stream's not failing midway through setting up. But yes, you can catch me on that. And of course, Tru Heel Heat Sports as well.
Hey, that 2-minute video you put is getting views.
I was so mad at myself. So mad.
Also subscribe over at Tru Heel Heat Sports. We got our watch-alongs, NFL seasons closing up shop, so join us over there as we're watching all the games. And you can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Tru Heel Heat, at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. The second season of the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship closing up with Wrestle Kingdom 17 coming up on January 4th. So you still have time to join us over there and get started on season 3. Plus, we got additional content over there for just $3 a month. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon backers. Thank you so much to everyone watching this video. Remember to drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. But most importantly, this was our list, Tru Heel Heat's list, 30 nominations. We gave everyone the chance to have their voice be heard this year. But if you weren't able to, and you don't feel this is the list that needs to be said, let us know in the comments down below. This is our list, Tru Heel Heat's list. This is not the list. Your opinion needs to be heard as well. So let it be heard in the comments down below. And also check out the rest of our matches list with the top 10 best WWE matches of 2022. Top 10 best AEW matches of 2022, and the top 10 best and New Japan Pro Wrestling matches of 2022, and see all the winners voted on by you on the 6th annual Tru Heel Heat year-end awards on Tru Heel Heat 206 from this past Saturday. So for Ness, for Chris G, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat's best matches of 2022. We are signing off until next time.